try another one. All right, so here I am. So if I want to add a constructor, typically it's a public method, should be the same as the name of our class. And in this case, again, I can steal some of this from this sample here. Just paste it in. And look what just happened. I have this constructor named name product, of course, with 3 parameters. So I'm expecting that someone who wants to use my class, so that what they do is that they write somewhere here, they can say then product car, right? So equals new product, and car equals new product, and the parameters would be code, description, and price, right? So code is supposed to be a string. Code will be 001A. I don't know what that means. Description could be ambulance, right? And then the price, I don't know, it's got to cost some money. So this the price. By the way, let me try to display this side by side. Okay, just like this. So we were trying to create new ambulance, and the price will be something like I don't know, 57,000. Okay, so that's probably completely underestimated. 157,000. How about that? If that's in the ballpark, I don't know. But essentially, this is what we're asking the user to do, is to make sure that they provide information. Now, the parameters, local parameters, when the constructor is invoked, of course, become strings, string 001A, string ambulance, and the price 157,000. Okay, so these local parameters will be initialized with actual parameters passed to us by the caller of our constructor, right? So the new will invoke it, but we say this is the type of constructor that we would like to invoke. Oftentimes, it's painful and inconvenient to invent other names for local parameters, such as CC, DD, or PP for price, description, and code. Wouldn't it be nice to say code, description, right, and price? Just use the same names. Why should we be using the same? Why should we be using different names? In this case, of course, this should also change, right, so that we're consistent with the names. And a code like this, by the way, let me align it properly. A code like this is called self-assignment. We take parameter code and assign it to itself, because local parameters being put in a local scope of this constructor method overshadow the instance variables of our class, because compiler prefers to refer to any symbols, any names, or any identifiers that we use. It prefers to use the closest scope available. It doesn't want to second guess that, oh, maybe this doesn't make sense. Rather, this local parameter should be assigned to an instance variable inside of our product class named code. It's not going to do it. It's just going to still use the same variable on both sides. However, again, the challenge is that I would like to recycle these names and don't want to invent strange names like this, just because so that I can distinguish this price from this price, right? Because this is a local parameter and this is an instance variable in my class, in the memory allocated for my class. So again, the solution is that, of course, this is part of my object. And if I want to make sure that compiler knows that this little piece, code, is in memory, is part of my object, what I can say is this. I can use this reference so that every method inside every non-static method inside my class has access, has direct reference to an object on which those methods are invoked. And therefore, if I follow this thing, this trick, or not trick, it's really just explicit reference to code description and price inside of our object versus a set of formal parameters passed to this constructor by the new operator as a result of someone saying new product and specifying what the parameters are. So I find this to be very convenient and perhaps good practice to do it this way, so that you can use this to disambiguate, from our standpoint, disambiguate what this code is versus what this one is. Does that make sense? Does anybody kind of feels somewhat uncomfortable or unconvinced about my approach?
About that. I'm unclear. Which one is disambiguate?
What happened? Let me try. Yeah, this is good. This is good. Good point to do it in more detail. That's why I asked. Is everybody is pretty clear about this? So the intent of this. Let me actually move this to the previous, so that we have just one view. Let's start here. The intent is to create new object. The class that we have is product. We would like to create brand new object. So we envision the following. We envision that somewhere in memory, right, there will be an object created. And I like to draw them 3D shapes, right? It's easy to draw them just like boxes, but after a while you realize you're drawing too many boxes. Well, I mean just rectangular shapes. But if it's like a 3D box, it kind of reminds me that, oh, this is something real in memory. And inside this product, I would like to have 3 data fields or 3 data attributes. And I would like them to be populated with some specific data. So this is not garbage, but populated with something actual. So as a client, what happens is that by the time this method, this statement is over, is executed already, the outcome of this should be that I have a reference named car, okay, and a little variable named car, which is a reference to this object in memory. This is by the time I'm done here, this is what I'd like to have. On the other hand, what are ways for me to populate those 3 pieces inside this class? Well, I create them locally, right? So I have locally in my main method here, locally, I created one string, right? I'll just use like little rectangular shape with double quotes. Another string, right? And some double. Let's use double literal and certain price. And I'll just draw another box, right? The double variable. And my goal is to insert these values, which I created locally, right here in the scope of my main method. Local, literal, values that I was able to produce right here. So they're essentially they belong to main, right? But my goal is to make sure that my object, once created, is populated by these values. So how this happens? Well, this happens that a constructor, we provided a constructor, and this constructor is invoked. So once the constructor is invoked, I need a little bit more space here, I guess. Once the constructor is invoked, it's just another method in our class, and so it has its own local scope of variables. In that local scope, a code, a description, and a price will be created and populated exactly the same way, right? Exactly the same way we had it in our main method, because they're local parameters. In fact, this is not completely true, because copies of strings are not made. I will simply get references to those strings. The copies will not be made as a result of this call. But I will oversimplify it here by simply drawing it like this. Let me save this segment.